Honorable Nick Pacheco, December 19, 2024. The Honorable Karen Bass, Mayor of Los Angeles, 200 N Spring Street, Los Angeles, CA 90012 RE. Until city apologizes, Mayor should avoid repatriation memorials. Dear Mayor Karen Bass, I write to you with deep concern regarding an unresolved chapter in the city of Los Angeles' history, its leading role in the forced removal of thousands of Mexicans and Mexican Americans during the 1930s, a practice known as Mexican repatriation. While your leadership in pushing for the city's sanctuary city designation is commendable, the absence of a formal apology for the city's shameful role in Mexican repatriation remains a glaring omission. This represents a missed opportunity to lead the city toward true reconciliation. Despite having over 250 staff members, it appears there is a lack of understanding or awareness of the city's complicity in this historical injustice. This oversight becomes even more glaring when public officials, including yourself, appear at events like on October 24, 2024. You attended the groundbreaking for SB 537's Mexican Repatriation Memorial and acknowledged the historical facts without issuing a formal apology or announcing you were pursuing a formal apology with the council. At that event, you stated, "We recognize the harsh reality that for 10 years beginning in 1929 where the 2 million Mexican immigrants and Mexican American citizens were rounded up, stripped of their citizenship and property and deported to Mexico. While recognizing these facts is important, each appearance at such events without an apology diminishes the opportunity for genuine accountability and risks alienating community members seeking justice. As the Mayor of Los Angeles, you can correct this missed opportunity and lead the city in making amends to the Mexican and Mexican American communities who were deeply harmed by these actions." The city's role in Mexican repatriation. The city of Los Angeles was not merely a participant but a principal architect in the Mexican repatriation program. This effort was orchestrated under the direction of Charles P. Vizel, coordinator of the Los Angeles Citizens Committee on the Coordination of Unemployment Relief operating out of the first floor of City Hall, spearheaded the city's campaign to remove Mexican residents through coercion, propaganda, and unlawful actions. Vizel's actions were marked by blatant racism, fear-mongering, and a disregard for human rights. His self-coined term, scareheading, illustrates the calculated strategy of instilling fear to compel Mexicans and Mexican Americans to leave their homes, jobs, and communities. Vizel's efforts, with the support of then LAPD Chief Roy E. Steckel, included 1. Dissemination of fear. Vizel led campaigns portraying Mexicans as economic burdens and public health threats. Through coordinated propaganda, he blamed them for the economic challenges of the Great Depression, fostering a hostile environment that dehumanized an entire community. 2. Coercion and deception. City agents, under Vizel's leadership, coerced individuals to leave under threats of job loss, welfare denial, and arrest. Many families were misled into believing they had no legal right to remain in the United States, despite their citizenship status. 3. Collaboration with private entities. The city worked closely with private employers and civic organizations to identify and target Mexican workers for removal. This public-private partnership amplified the reach and impact of the repatriation campaign. 4. The La Placita raid. Vizel organized the infamous raid on La Placita, a central gathering place for the Mexican community in Los Angeles. This raid, marked by aggressive police action and public humiliation, spread fear throughout the community, forcing countless individuals to abandon their homes and livelihoods to avoid similar persecution. 5. Exclusion from city celebrations. In another demonstration of institutional racism, Vizel ensured that Mexicans and Mexican Americans were excluded from the city's 150th anniversary celebratory events. This exclusion sent a clear message that these communities were not considered a valued part of Los Angeles' heritage, further alienating and marginalizing them. 6. Institutionalization of racism. Vizel's operations were legitimized by City Hall, embedding racial discrimination into the fabric of Los Angeles governance. His work set a precedent for systemic exclusion and disenfranchisement of Mexican and Mexican American communities for decades to come. The human cost. The impact of these actions was devastating. Families were torn apart, livelihoods destroyed, and countless individuals were deported to a country they barely knew or had never lived in. In all, about one-third of those counted in the 1930 census were repatriated, about 60% of whom were children who had been born in the United States and thus were U.S. citizens. This means that many young people lost their opportunities to achieve success in the United States and were forced to live in Mexico with a broken spirit. This psychological toll, a profound sense of loss and disconnection, represents one of the cruelest outcomes of this injustice. These impacts are not relics of the past. They continue to shape the lives and opportunities of Mexican and Mexican American families in Los Angeles today. Most Anglo-American officials, at the time, attempted to emphasize the voluntary nature of repatriation in contrast to deportation, or forcible expulsion from the country. To Chicanos, however, the term repatriation became synonymous with deportation, and most Chicano experts agree that the line differentiating the two is very thin. This painful legacy is further compounded when public officials, including yourself, appear at events like the groundbreaking for SB 537's Mexican Repatriation Memorial and acknowledge the historical facts without issuing a formal apology. While recognizing these facts is important, each appearance at such events without an apology risks further shaming by community members who see it as an evasion of full accountability and an obstacle to meaningful reconciliation. The need for an apology. With the above in mind, I request that the City of Los Angeles formally apologize for its role in Mexican repatriation. I have included a draft resolution to assist in your efforts. Such an apology would 1. Acknowledge historical injustice. Recognize the city's active participation in a program that violated the rights and dignity of its residents. 2. Honor the victims. Provide overdue recognition to those who were unjustly removed and to their descendants who continue to bear the consequences. 3. Reaffirm commitment to justice. Demonstrate that the City of Los Angeles is committed to addressing the legacies of systemic racism and ensuring that such injustices are never repeated. 4. Promote reconciliation. repatriation, lay the groundwork for healing and reconciliation between the city and the Mexican and Mexican-American communities. Suggested actions in addition to a formal apology. I urge the city to appropriate $5 million to fund the establishment and maintenance of the SB 537 Mexican Repatriation Memorial, ensuring it becomes a lasting symbol of education and remembrance. This funding could be sourced from the city's 10.0% excise tax paid by retail customers on every sale, which has yet to be fully allocated in the budget. Fund scholarships, grants, or community programs aimed at addressing the generational harm caused by these actions. Partner with academic and cultural institutions to preserve the history of Mexican repatriation and its impact on Los Angeles. Conclusion. Mayor Bays, your leadership can set a transformative precedent for Los Angeles, one that honors its past by acknowledging its wrongs and commits to a more just future. I urge you to seize this moment to lead the city toward healing and reconciliation. Thank you for your attention to this important matter. I look forward to your response. Sincerely, Han Nick Pacheco.